It's Bitcoin's 12th birthday today, marking 12 years since the release of Satoshi's infamous Bitcoin white paper, which took the world by storm. Of course, the blockchain wasn't actually launched until a few months later. However, this coincides perfectly with the beginning of what we're calling Bitcoin's 14K boss battle. It is one of the only big bosses remaining on our way to new all-time highs. However, just like the 12K boss battle that we fought just a few months ago, my prediction is, and believe me when I say, I want Bitcoin to make new all-time highs more than anyone. However, understanding the ebb and flow of the market is a very strong major key to making money in this market. However, today I'm going to be making the case that Bitcoin has a little bit of a drawn-out boss battle with this 14K level, which actually leads to a reversion of the Bitcoin dominance chart that has been up and to the right almost without fail over the past few months. So if you guys are interested to hear my prediction as to how long I think this Bitcoin 14K boss battle will take and what exactly the markets will do in response to it over the next coming weeks and really months, then do me a favor and destroy that like button, because today's episode is going to be packed with value. And of course, we're going to be giving away a Ledger Nano S at the very end of the episode. I promise it's happening, and each and every comment on this video is entered to win on the next giveaway. With that said, let's dive in. So first things first, let's discuss the prevailing narrative, which is that, of course, Bitcoin's price rising while volume is also rising is horrible for Ethereum, horrible for altcoins, and alts are just going to get destroyed. Well, that is an easy way to think about things. Sorry guys, I just had to. But the reality is that I see that this is sort of an ebb and flow. That especially what I've learned over many, many years of playing this game in crypto is that when everybody is seeing the game one way, chances are you should go the other way. And what I mean to say is that we're expecting right now for Bitcoin to just go parabolic. And of course, I'm fine with that. If Bitcoin goes parabolic, happy days, because we've all been waiting for that. That adds tons more liquidity to the space. All of a sudden, more people will become involved with investing in crypto through by far the most popular asset in the crypto space, which is Bitcoin. Not by a little bit, but by orders of magnitude. By Bitcoin becoming more popular, the whole space grows. We know that. And especially if Bitcoin goes parabolic, as soon as it chills out, those Bitcoin whales are going to do what they do best, which is start to pump those newfound gains into the altcoins. But I'm going to pose to you a theory that that's not exactly how it's going to happen, and that there's going to be a bit of a long and drawn out boss battle here at 14K, and that 14K level will eventually drag out, will eventually overcome it, and then it will be another huge battle at 20K. There's people saying, hey, look, some of these alts look really bad, some alts look decent, and alts, yeah, they look okay, but they don't see any altcoin that looks really, really good right now. And that's just not how alt season works. Alt season doesn't work that, hey, this thing's been trudging along, making new highs in new price discovery mode. That's when we should buy in. No, altcoin season works by getting into things before they pump, understanding what the market values, and of course, what things have upside. So this mentality to me is really a way to always be behind the trends. Now, of course, like I said, Bitcoin could keep pumping. Predicting Bitcoin's price action is a bit silly because it moves so strongly when it does move. However, I wanted to bring to your attention the TD sequential. The TD sequential is an indicator that identifies a turning point in the trend of an asset or index, especially on any time frame if the chart of an asset shows a 9 consecutive candles above or below the closure of 4 candles prior, then it prints a TD9, which means that it's indicating a turning point in the market. And so we can see here that you don't need to fully understand this, but you can see here when we see a 9 printed, usually shortly thereafter or immediately thereafter, and this is Bitcoin dominance, right? And this is from TradingView. And so what we're seeing here is that when we get these 9 readings, it usually indicates that the bullish trend in the dominance has started to subside, that essentially there's a trend exhaustion. So we can see here that on the TD sequential, when we get a 9 reading here, we typically pull back. We can see there was one in May, and this lasted essentially, this marked the top of the Bitcoin dominance chart. And then we got this flourishing alt season all the way down to essentially it broke out of this downward channel. And we can see that it finally broke out of this channel here, right here at the beginning of September. And this, of course, led to the bullishness, which we've seen in Bitcoin over the past month and a half, 2 months or so throughout September and October. And now we're seeing, of course, another 9 reading that just got printed. When I started making this episode, these were the charts I was using yesterday. And then literally as it turned over to the new day. I think it was yesterday at about like 5 p.m. Pacific time, we got this crazy scam wick. And, you really need to zoom out to understand the implications of how big this scam wick really is. So what's crazy here is looking at this wick that came in after I started looking at this chart. I was anticipating that there would be a sort of downtrend in the Bitcoin dominance, and we got this weird data error that came in. If you see this red little scam wick down here, and what's crazy is I don't know if this is serendipity, I don't know if this is an indication of what's to come or just some spooky data error because it's here on Halloween. But I mean, look, going back, in order for you to get a data point that goes this low, it goes down, this sort of scam wick comes down to like a 43 read, and it hasn't been in that territory since its almost all-time lows. Now, of course, I'm not saying this means anything. I'm just saying I was identifying this trend of what looked like some exhaustion here with the TD sequential as we're looking at, this chart here. And then we got this crazy scam wick. And I'm not saying the two are connected. It looks like a data error, right? And we still got some follow through to the upside, right? But it does look like Bitcoin dominance, especially if we look at the daily. It does look like this could start to be overextended. Again, you can't predict Bitcoin's movement, but in confluence with the fact that I think there's going to be a long drawn out battle at the 14K region, as well as a little bit of potentially overexhaustion here of the Bitcoin dominance chart. This is the Bitcoin chart sort of throughout 2020. We had the big, March dump. Then we got the stimulus pumps, and then we popped up to this level right here. We ended up here, and we first challenged the 12K level here at about the 1st of August, right? And then we challenged, we got rejected, we built back up, got through it, got rejected, then we built back up one more time, and we got rejected. So we got like 3 or 4 real attempts here throughout from, August 1 all the way through, call it September 1. Boom, we finally get over it around, end of October, right? Which was just like a week or so ago that we got over it. And so from August 1 to the end of October, just call it 2 months for ease sake. It's really more like 2.5 months or whatever. But regardless, so 2.5 months from, August 1 until the end of October. And then we finally get through it and we get followed through to the upside. Well, 14K is a really, really big number because that was really the top of the last cycle in 2019. So I'm expecting that, hey, maybe this is some kind of a guide as to how we're dealing with these very important levels where the bears and the bulls are really going to fight it out. And who knows, maybe there's manipulation going on. There usually is. But this is kind of my guide of thinking, all right, well, it took us 2.5 months to really get through 12K. Maybe it'll be similar to get through 14K. Looking back, of course, at the sort of end of 2017, beginning of 2018, we saw a similar thing in trying to come over the previous all-time highs, right? There's no parabolic action here in 2016. There's really not. We get a couple little runs, but then they get shoved down. Runs, they get shoved down. But there's not like parabolic movements happening here of like 3, 4x in any kind of short period. It's grinding out these ranges. And so I'm expecting that it's going to be quite similar here, where we're going to see a lot of grinding out at this 14K range. Also in confluence, we're seeing, Bitcoin dominance. It broke out of this trend. I'm just going to draw a really rough trend line. You guys, I'm not a TA guy per se, but you can see this sort of rough trend line here that Bitcoin dominance broke out of, and we've seen the alts get crushed and Bitcoin sort of win throughout this. But maybe this scam wick, this spooky scam wick, is an indication that we have some, downward trajectory of the Bitcoin dominance in confluence with this boss battle that we're going to be fighting at the 14K level. And of course, this is something I wanted to bring up because we now know that wrapped Ethereum is Ethereum's 6th largest token. And so it's got over $1 billion and a half dollars of Bitcoin on Ethereum. So as Bitcoin grows in value, in my opinion, the Ethereum and the DeFi ecosystem grows in value. Remember, DeFi is essentially, you can just think of it as activating your money to find yields. And the more money you have, the more those, little percentage yields add up to being significant. And so to me, this is very, very important here as we can understand, in my opinion, the interconnectivity between Bitcoin and other ecosystems that was not the case last cycle. Now, of course, you needed Bitcoin to do a lot of the exchange trading on the last cycle. It's less so now. People trade a lot in ETH, people trade a lot in USDT. But the reality is that I see Bitcoin and these other ecosystems really, really intertwined now in a way that they weren't. And so understanding to me that everything that happens good for Bitcoin is also good for Ethereum and DeFi in my mind, I see them very synergistic. So while it's no guarantee, I think there's some logic that this Bitcoin dominance trend might be seeing a little bit of a top. We see, of course, that it's encountering a lot of resistance here. Let's go ahead and draw a horizontal line. You can see how many times it really touched this level, this sort of 63 level. We see it hits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we see that now it's sort of coming up against this big horizontal resistance. We also get the scam wick. I don't know. I'm just trying to lay out my thought process as to why I don't think it's going to be a straight path between here and Bitcoin all-time high, and that this is the case that we might see a little bit, maybe a mini, maybe a medium-sized altcoin party here towards the end of the year in December. Though, in my opinion, hopefully both Bitcoin and altcoins rise in tandem. That's why I'm just saying, hey, this is what the company line is right now. This is what everybody's saying, is that, oh, this is bad for the alts. Everyone's going to get crushed. And rarely do I find that news articles really hit it on the head and give me some good alpha. In fact, usually I use sort of mainstream news, even if you could call this Cointelegraph kind of crypto mainstream news, as a little bit of a counter trade signal. Remember, I said I was going to be focusing on new coins that had not pumped, that had good fundamentals, that were fitting into trending narratives, scalability, DeFi. In this case, this is layer 2. This is DeFi on Matic, and this is called EasyFi. I talked about this on several episodes, and I actually tweeted about it as well. And this thing just went absolutely nuts over the last week or so. And literally since the beginning of the month, it's done about a 7x here, now over $10, pushing its way to $11. And so I actually took some profits on this because, as I told you guys, when things go parabolic, you don't want to be greedy. I still kept a moon bag, but of course, you got to understand that once things do a 5x, a 7x, you want to protect yourself. You don't want to see all that money go away. So I did personally take some profits on this, even though I know that, hey, I might miss out on some upside. It's easy to see things going up and never stopping. I'm feeling kind of comfortable in my thesis right now that it's all about finding these new gems before they've really gone parabolic, before they've had their 2020 pumps, and then seeing, to me, a potential for a reversal of the Bitcoin dominance trend while it fights out this boss battle. That would mean that the alts really get brought up to this new level of liquidity that Bitcoin's on, even if it just grinds its way out and goes sideways. Remember, that's what was happening all throughout August, was Bitcoin was getting, July and August, Bitcoin's getting rejected and grinding sideways. And meanwhile, the alts are absolutely going parabolic and thriving. And I'm hoping that that's what happens. No promises, no guarantees. Crypto's crazy, DYOR. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research, please. But this is my thought process. And this is what's been leading me to keep taking bets on coins like Easy that have been paying off. Before I do my wrap up, I'm going to quickly give away this ledger, and then I'm going to tell you my mindset going forward and foreshadow some really, really amazing stuff coming up on the channel. I think you're really going to like it. So first of all, let's generate a random number between 1 and 10. We'll use this, of course, to pick the video that we do our random comment picker on. We'll do a generate, and we're doing number 1. That's the last video. So let's go. The everything crash. This was from yesterday. So we'll look at, we'll grab this, go into our random comment picker, get YouTube comments, and we'll pick. The winner here is Cyber Eric. And he says, come on, man, 3 comments is Russ Hanneman. Everyone knows that. And that's actually pretty funny because that's a Silicon Valley reference. Very good comment, Cyber Eric. Please DM me on Telegram or Twitter and we'll get you your winnings. Obviously, this is for subscribers only. So if you're not subscribed, we're going to give it away to someone else. As usual, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And remember, we're going to be giving away these ledgers out. So all you have to do is comment below this video and you'll be entered to win on the next giveaway. So there you have it. Explosive altcoin action out of coins like Easy. I'm still very much so rooting on a lot of these coins that have not gotten their 2020 pumps yet. And while everybody's looking at Bitcoin to steal the show, I'm seeing potentially some indications that this trend of Bitcoin being the lone star of the crypto ecosystem, I'm thinking maybe that's going to take a temporary breather. Again, I'm seeing a long and drawn out boss battle here at 14K. Remember, after 14K, it's pretty much clear skies until 17, 18K, maybe 20. And I believe that that road is going going to be a little bit rocky getting over this next hump, as it's really like almost uncharted territory. And so nothing in crypto happens easy. The Bitcoin bull run is not going to be easy. I think it's going to be a little more drawn out. And for this reason, I think while Bitcoin starts to grapple with this new big boss, I'm hoping that the alts get another lease on life. Again, not financial advice. Do your own research. These are just my theories and why I'm betting on altcoins right now, not the old altcoins that are still, fully retraced, though I do see a potential for some alts like Band, like Acro, things that have really come down off their highs and almost fully retraced their August parabolic moves. I'm thinking that there is a narrative for those to start moving, but I'm even more confident that the coins that have not gotten their pumps, that don't have all that gravity, all those bag holders, all those people who are just looking for a small pump to sell it off, I think that there's a lot less gravity on these new coins. So in my mind, they're a little bit of a better position to be in. And to summarize, if it takes 2.5 months for us to get over the 14K level like it did the 12K level, and then another 2.5 months to get over that final hump of 20K, well, 5 months from now puts us almost exactly on track for that late February, early March explosion of Bitcoin to new all-time highs. Just remember, this isn't precise stuff. These are just assumptions built on assumptions squared, of course. So just know that this is my general idea that we're going to sort of rock our way up, back and forth, and every time Bitcoin hits a stagnation phase, I could see money flowing back into altcoins as essentially Bitcoin's movement becomes less exciting. So with that in mind, I'm going to be coming with lots of altcoin gems over the coming weeks, just like Easy did, just like Easy had its big moment over the last few days. I think that that's going to happen for a lot of these new, very useful, smart, innovative altcoins that just haven't gotten their moment in the light yet. And for that reason, I'm going to be bringing a lot of low cap, undervalued gems to you. And if you want to be made aware of coins like Easy first, then what you want to do is subscribe and make sure you have that bell notification on. With that bell on, you'll be the first one to know when I put out coverage of coins like Easy, coins that I believe have tremendous upside potential. And remember, I have no VIPs. I don't give away these picks to anyone before I cover them here on the channel. In fact, I'm really steadfast of making sure that nobody knows what I'm covering before I cover it. So the first people to know about it are the Bell Squad, the notification gang. And so I encourage you to subscribe and put that bell on. As usual, if you got some value out of this video, do me a favor, give it a like, smash that like button, obliterate it, destroy it, turn that little thumb blue. It really helps the channel. It's a free and easy way for you to support the channel, and I really appreciate it. As usual, my name's Elio Trades. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.